To start off with, I take measurements of the body for the pants and his coat, the circumference of his belly, and also his chest. And I measure how long I want it. And I also do the same thing for the arms and the legs. I measure and draw up my pattern onto a sheet of paper and cut it out. I double up the material and I just trace the pattern onto it. I do the same for the coat, the sleeves, and the gloves and the hat. Now this is fleece that I am using. This is the pattern for the coat. It kind of widens at the bottom, and I have openings for on the shoulders there for the sleeves to be sewn to, and a 1/4 inch seam allowance going around, and on top is the opening for the neck. And here's my pattern for the sleeves. Get that all traced out. The 1/4 inch seam allowance as well. Get these all cut out, and here's for the gloves. Get everything cut out and all sewn together. For the hat, I measure the circumference of his head. I'm measuring half the length of the circumference, and then I'm finding the center, and then I'm going to draw an angle all the way up to the point there to find the point. Get my pattern cut out, and I trace it onto the material here, onto the fleece. The stretchy part of the fleece is down at the bottom at the opening there. For the trim, I made a pattern, and I'm tracing it onto what I like to call fuzzy fleece. I don't know exactly what the term is for it, but I use this for the trim for the coat and the hat and the gloves. Once I get the cap all sewn together, I turn it right side out, and I'm using this paintbrush to push the point up. Now I sewed the one end of the trim together, and I'm lining that seam of the trim up with one of the seams of the hat, and then I sewed the bottom, and then after I sew the bottom I turn it down like so, and I also sewed that little booty ball on top. Now I just get it onto his head. Looking pretty good so far. I glued the opening of the coat, the top part of the coat, around his neck all the way around, and I also put a few stitches in each side right there at the neck. I use this leather-like material for the belt and the boots, and I have these two pieces here, and I'm going to trace the pattern of the boots that I made. I measured the feet so I get an idea how I want to make the pattern, and I'm doing a seam allowance just like I did with everything else, and I get it all sewn up. This is the sole or bottom of the boot. I made a pattern, cut it out, and I sewed it onto the bottom. As you can see, it's a bit out of shape because it's not filled out. And I used the fuzzy fleece as trim for the boot. I just sewed it right on there. You see the stitches inside there, I do believe. I get them both done, and I just slip them onto the feet. Now there's nothing else attaching. You can actually take these boots right off. I'm tucking the end of his pants into each of the boots. It's a little bit of a struggle getting them on, but I managed. I also made a pattern for the belt. I cut it out of the leather-like material, and I'm using this plastic to make the buckle. It's just a lid from like a, I don't know, Tupperware thing, something like Tupperware. I traced the pattern onto the plastic, And once I get that all traced on there, I use my X-Acto knife to cut out the inside and around the outside. It's a little tough, but I managed to do it. Now I'm roughing it up with some sandpaper. I'm doing this so the paint sticks better to it. I paint it first with acrylic gesso, which is like a primer. I do a couple coats, let it dry before I put the other paint on. When that's all dry, I put on a couple coats of acrylic gold paint, like a gold leaf. I sewed the middle of the belt buckle onto one end of the belt. I'm sorry I didn't show that on the video. I thought I had it, but I think I might have accidentally deleted it. But the belt, the end of the belt there is actually sewn to the other part of the belt, if that makes any sense. There's nothing, I did not sew the belt to the body, but I didn't really need to. It's holding itself on there just fine. And there's my Santa Marionette with the cloth body. I think it turned out pretty well. I can't wait to get the strings on them. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I do have a Patreon page. I will put the link below, and you can donate so much a month, and I would really appreciate it. Help support the channel. And until then, till next time, have a great day.